Hey yogis, welcome to Yellow Yoga. Today's practice is part of our strength series, and this one in particular is to help build a strong core. We'll start with some breath work and some core activation exercises, and then we'll move into some deep core work. Each exercise will be about a minute long, and between each exercise, we'll rest and reset with bridge lifts for about a minute as well. If you're not a fan of bridge pose, you'll definitely end up loving bridge pose by the end of the practice, so that's at least one benefit for us. And then before we jump in, the last thing to point out is that the practice today is not really designed for you to complete without ever taking your own breaks. It's expected that you pause and drop the feet or grab the knees from time to time for a quick rest. Roll out your mat and let's get started. We'll start our practice today in a comfortable cross-legged seat in the middle of the mat. So make your way down to the ground if you're not already there. And mindfully place the hands wherever they feel best for you today. On the knees, in the lap, open or closed, just whatever feels best. And we'll begin to settle in here and connect to the breath. Taking big, expansive inhales and exhaling to release the breath all the way out. See if you can exhale even further than usual today, really pushing the air all the way out, activating the core muscles as we empty the lungs. And when you're ready, we'll start to take some nice torso circles here. Inhaling as we come forward from one side and across to the other, shining the chest forward. And exhaling as we come around to the back, rounding the spine, dropping the chin. Keep these circles going here. Maybe focusing our attention on the muscles of the core, noticing which muscles are activated and when. And we'll switch direction here with our circles. And when you're ready, we'll meet in the middle, head over heart, heart over pelvis. And we'll take a side body stretch here. Drop the left fingertips to the mat about a foot from your body. And on an inhale, send the right pinky behind the right ear and straight up to the sky, finding lots of length here. And exhale, stretch that right arm over the head and toward the left side of the mat. Keep breathing here. Inhaling to lengthen. Exhaling to sink a little deeper into the side body stretch. See if you can draw your right shoulder back just a little more to shine your chest to the sky. On your next inhale, come back up to center and we'll switch sides. Drop the right fingertips to the mat here about a foot from your body. And on an inhale, send the left pinky behind the left ear and straight up to the sky to find length. And exhale, stretch that left arm over the head and toward the right side of the mat. and keep breathing here. On your next inhale, come back up to center and exhale to lower the left arm. All right, from here, uncross the legs and plant the soles of the feet on the mat. Take one big inhale here and exhale to lower the back all the way down to the mat. And when you get here, bring the feet toward the glutes, just about an inch from the sits bones. And stretch the arms toward the feet, palms on the mat. Now, before we get into our first bridge pose of the practice, see if you can play around with your own spinal and abdominal awareness here. See if you can lift the tailbone off the ground slightly by contracting the core, and then release back down to the mat. Really play around with how it feels to lift one vertebra at a time, starting your lift from your tail and ending with lowering the tail. All right, and we'll make our way to bridge. On a slow inhale, push through the heels to lift the hips off the ground, lifting first from the tail and then through the rest of the spine. And exhale, lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale to lift, and exhale to lower. One more inhale to lift, and exhale to lower all the way down to the mat. And we'll roll up to a seated position now, soles of the feet still on the mat. Place the hands on top of the knees. Inhale all together. And exhale to lean your torso back until your arms are straight with the hands still on the knees. Keep the feet light on the ground. You should feel a bit of core activation here. And we'll call this C-sit position because the body is making the shape of a C. Inhale all together and exhale to twist to your right, bringing your hands beside your right hip. Inhale to come back to center and exhale to twist to your left. Inhale to come back to center and keep this going on your own for another 45 seconds. Fifteen seconds to go. On your next exhale, slowly lower the back all the way down to the mat. Take a second or two to get set up for your bridge lifts. And when you're ready, you know what to do. Inhale to lift and exhale to lower. Continue your bridge lifts at your own pace here. You've got another 45 seconds. 15 more seconds here. Keep the mind focused on the body, don't wander off. When you're ready, we'll roll back up to our C-sit position, soles of the feet light on the mat. And we'll change it up slightly. Inhale to lift the hands overhead. And exhale to bring both hands to your right side by your right hip. Inhale to lift the hands back up overhead. And exhale to bring the hands to your left side. Inhale to come back to center, hands overhead, and keep this going at your own pace. Again, we have just 45 seconds here. "15 seconds left. Keep going, keep breathing. Relax the face muscles. Release any unnecessary tension from the body. On your next exhale, slowly lower the back all the way down to the mat. Take a second or two to get set for your bridge lifts. And when you're ready, you know what to do. You've got 45 seconds here to stretch out the abs and work the back body. Inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you lower. And 15 more seconds. All right, let's roll back up to our C-sit position. Get situated here. And once again, inhale to lift the hands overhead. Now exhale to lift the right foot and lower the arms straight forward to frame the right knee. Inhale to lift the hands, dropping the right foot back to the mat. Exhaling to lift the left foot this time, lowering the arms to frame the left knee. Inhale to lift the hands overhead, dropping the left foot. And keep this going on your own for another 45 seconds. "30 more seconds. You got this. Don't worry about speed. Just focus on your breath. "15 more seconds. On your next exhale, slowly lower the back all the way down to the mat. Take a second or two to get set up for your bridge lifts. And when you're ready, you can start your bridges, inhaling as you lift, exhaling as you lower. Another 45 seconds here. And we'll roll back up to our C-sit position once more. This time we'll lift the feet off the ground so the shins are parallel to the mat. And we'll reach the arms out toward the front of the mat with the arms on the outside of the knees. And we'll flip the palms to face up for high boat pose with bent knees. Don't hold your breath here, keep breathing. Now from here we have two options. We can either hold this high boat pose for the remaining 45 seconds, or on an exhale we can straighten and lower the legs and torso toward the mat, so both upper and lower body are hovering just inches above the mat. Then inhale to come back up to high boat pose. So I'll leave the choice up to you, whether you go down to hover in your low boat or you just remain in high boat. We've got just over 30 seconds. Ten more seconds here. And on your next exhale, lower the back all the way down to the mat. And this is your last 45 seconds of bridge lifts here. Finish up your last bridge. And come right back up to high boat pose here with bent knees, arms framing the knees, palms facing up. Feet are lifted, shins parallel to the ground. Take a second to check in with your shoulders and chest here. See if you can relax the shoulders away from the ears just a bit to open the chest. And for the next 45 seconds, we're going to work on straightening and bending the legs here in boat pose. And then I promise we'll be done with boat. Inhale to straighten and lengthen if you can, legs creating a 45-degree angle with the floor. And exhale to bend, shins coming back to parallel with the mat. Inhale to straighten and lengthen. Exhale to bend. And continue on your own here for about 30 more seconds. It's okay if you lose your balance or need a little break. Practice grace with yourself as you fall out. If you start shaking, try to enjoy your shaking energy. Ten more seconds here. All right, and this time we'll bring the feet down to the mat. Cross the legs in front of you to come to your knees. Spread the knees wide. And we'll sink the hips back to the heels for child's pose and breathe. Slowly walk the hands in now, lifting the torso off the mat. Bring the knees to hip width apart and come to a high kneeling position. Hips lifted. Shoulders in line with the hips, hips in line with the knees. And you can bring your hands to your hips here. Now lift your right knee and take a big step forward with your right foot to come into a low crescent lunge. Sweep the hands overhead and breathe, stretching and lengthening the hip flexor after our boat pose variations. All right, join me here in an inhale all together. And exhaling, twisting to your right, hooking your left arm on the outer right knee for just some help in this twist, and continue breathing here. You can bring your right arm to hook around your left thigh if that serves you, or you can send your right arm to the back of the room. Just play around and find what works for you. Inhale to untwist and sweep the hands back up overhead. And exhale to step the right foot back to meet the left in your high kneeling position once more, hands on the hips. Now lift your left knee and take a big step forward with your left foot to come into your low crescent lunge. Sweep the hands overhead and breathe here. On your next exhale, twist to your left, hooking your right arm on your outer left knee. This side may be different from the other, so feel free to play around again with what works. And when you're ready, inhale to untwist and sweep the hands back up overhead. And exhale to step the left foot back to meet the right in your high kneeling position once again, hands on the hips. And from here, we'll walk the hands all the way to the front of the mat. And we'll lower down to our forearms for Sphinx pose. And we've got just one more abdominal exercise here before we get to cool down. And it's going to be side planks, just 1 minute on each side. On your next inhale, engage your core to lift your hips off the mat for low plank. Turn your left arm to be parallel with the front of your mat, and roll onto the knife edge of your left foot for side plank. Now here in side plank, take a moment to play with your feet and find what works. Maybe it's the feet stacked on top of each other. Maybe you take the right foot and place it in front of the left so both feet are directly supported by the mat. Find what works for you. Now when you found your footing, inhale to lift your right hand straight up to the sky if it's not already there. And exhale to twist toward the mat, sending the right hand to thread the needle under your torso. Inhale to lift, sending the right hand back up to the sky, find length. And exhale again to twist, threading the needle once more. Keep this going on your own here. You've got about 30 seconds left. Just 10 more seconds. On your next exhale, switch sides. Bring your right forearm to the ground, parallel with the front of the mat, and roll onto the knife edge of your right foot. Again, take a second or two to play around with your footing. And when you're ready, inhale to send your left arm straight up to the sky, find length. And exhale to twist, sending the left arm under your torso to thread the needle. Inhale to lift the arm back up to the sky. And exhale to twist once again. Keep it going here for just 30 seconds. You've got 10 more seconds here. And exhale to come back to center. Lower the knees to the mat. Sink the hips back to the heels for child's pose and breathe. While you're here in child's pose, check in with your body. Maybe run a quick body scan to see if there's anything else you might need before you're able to fully relax in a meditative Shavasana. Maybe you need another side body stretch. Maybe a bit of fluid movement will be good for you. Maybe cat-cow, for example, is something you're craving. Take a second to decide what you need. I'll give you 1 full minute to fulfill your wishes and flow on your own before we meet in Shavasana. Wherever you are, take a couple of seconds to even it out or finish up your final poses. And when you're ready, make your way all the way down to your back. Legs stretched out long, arms at your sides. And release your mind from thinking. Just focus on your breath, moving your body up and down. As always, I encourage you to stay in Shavasana for a couple of minutes to reap the benefits of the practice today. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Namaste.